Music has always been more than rhythm and melody. It's power, influence, and sometimes danger. Today on Strawberry Ink, we explore the intersection of the music industry and crime, tracing the lives of three iconic figures: Sean Combs, known as Diddy, Bob Marley, and Peter Tosh. Their stories span decades and continents. Yet a thread runs through them: fame, exploitation, and the shadowy corridors where art and crime collide. Sean Combs, a music mogul, entrepreneur, record producer, and rapper. He was a big figure in the hip hop industry. Not SoundCloud rap, not gangster rap. He had his unique style, which to me sounds pretty jazzy. Over decades, he built a towering presence in hip hop culture through Bad Boy Records, fashion, and lifestyle brands, as well as media ventures. But fame comes with scrutiny, and in the past few years, he has faced multiple allegations of sexual misconduct, coercion, and human trafficking. The FBI tied him to a criminal investigation in the Southern District of New York, focusing on crimes against those he promised to launch into the music industry. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams presented the evidence to a grand jury at the Manhattan Federal Court. The indictment included racketeering, human trafficking, and two other sex predator offenses. Additional charges were added by the prosecution: kidnapping, arson, and five prostitution related offenses. I would like to pause here and say that moving forward, listener discretion is advised due to the sensitivity of this episode. On September 16th, 2024, Diddy was spotted in the lobby of the Park Hyatt in New York. U.S. Marshals arrested him, taking him first to the FBI field office in Manhattan, then booking him into the MDC Brooklyn. Before Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnowski, he pleaded not guilty and was ordered to remain in custody pending trial. By May 5th, 2025, jury selection began. He had a whole private defense counsel defending him, with Williams prosecuting aggressively. 12 jurors and 6 alternates were seated by May 12th that year. The trial concluded on July 2nd, 2025, with Diddy being found guilty of 2 counts of transporting to engage in prostitution, while acquitted on racketeering and sex trafficking charges. I remember seeing this verdict on my Delta Airlines flight on a small screen. Lots of the people around me were also focused on the screen to see if these victims would get justice or not. I guess they partially did. Judge Aaron Subramanian refused to overturn the conviction. And on October 3rd, 2025, after also being denied a new trial and also being denied release pending appeal, the case moved forward to sentencing. On October 3rd, 2025, Diddy was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison. He was also fined $500,000. His appeal is pending and he remains in custody, even as criminal proceedings unfolded. Diddy faced nearly 70 lawsuits while locked up in Brooklyn. These lawsuits include claims from Singer, Don Richard, and many more others alleging abuse, coercion, and misconduct. These matters are pending as well. He is expected to focus on his appeal in the year 2026 to see if the higher courts could rule in his favor, while Diddy navigates the corridors of Manhattan justice. Decades earlier, reggae legends faced their own battles, though not always in courtrooms. The Rastafarian movement was big, a group of religious people demanding peace instead of fighting between being on the sheriff's side or the civilian side. Bob Marley and Peter Tosh. Names synonymous with music, rebellion, cultural influence, as well as old Dennis Brown, who died of a cardiac arrest after fighting a long cocaine addiction. These names are of people who suffered and who, through their music, tried to fight for the rights of themselves and others. Yet their fame drew dangerous attention. Kim Potter, the ex-girlfriend of Diddy, died in 2018. Although rumors have circulated connecting her death to Diddy, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed her cause of death as a condition called lobar pneumonia. This ruling was made after an autopsy. Now, on to Bob Marley. Bob Marley's story is shrouded in rumors as much as facts. Since the 1970s, conspiracy theories have claimed that Marley's political influence made him a target. Some whisper of poisoned boots gifted by Carl Colby, some of former CIA Director William Colby. Despite lots of conspiracy theories and lots of rumors being BS, as we know that many rumors are pretty retarded, especially in the northern part of the United States of America, I still believe that there is a bit of logic to these rumors surrounding Bob Marley due to the political tensions he was involved in. Others point to the 1976 assassination attempt at his Kingston home just before the Smile Jamaica concert, where gunmen injured him, his wife, and his manager. That is something I will be covering later on. Marley battled melanoma, a skin cancer, beginning in his toe in 1977 and eventually spread into his brain, lungs, and liver. In spring 1981, he sought treatment in Bavaria, West Germany, at Joseph Issel's, a clinic, but his condition deteriorated. On the flight back to Kingston, he collapsed, forcing an emergency stop in Miami. There, at Cedars of Lebanon Hospital, doctors confirmed nothing could be done. Surrounded by his family, his mother, Cedella Booker, wife Rita Marley, and some of his children, he was disconnected from life support and passed away in 1981. His reported last words to his son Ziggy were, "Money can't buy life." News of his death spread across Miami and Jamaica, prompting non-stop radio tributes. Prime Minister Edward Saega announced a state funeral. Marley's body was returned to Jamaica with a private service at Madden's funeral home, followed by services at the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and the National Arena in Kingston. Before his final resting place in 9 Miles, St. Anne Parish, his grave, a mausoleum, contains a Bible, guitar, and soccer ball. Some theorists allege Rita Marley benefited or even participated in foul play, but there is no evidence to support these claims. The reality of Marley battled aggressive melanoma cancer and remained under the care of medical professionals and his family. His legal battles over the estate continued for years, fueled by personal and public intrigue. While Marley's death sparked whispers and speculation, Tosh met a more direct, violent end. On September 11th, 1987, three armed men, all Roberts, invaded Peter Tosh's Kingston home, demanding money. Tosh refused, guns were drawn. In the home were Jeff Dixon, a radio DJ known as Free Eye, and Wilton Brown, his herbal doctor. The robbers shot both Peter and Doc, killing them instantly. 6 others were injured, including Tosh's wife Andrea, the DJ's wife Joy, his drummer Santa Davis, and session musician Michael Robinson. Most survived, though the radio DJ later died in the hospital. The bodies of Tosh and Brown were taken under the authority of the Jamaica Coroner's Court. Investigations identified Dennis Loban, Lepo being his nickname, and getaway driver Steve Russell. Later, 2 extra names were tied to the case: Horace James and Dennis Seaborn, who was nicknamed Chubby. All 4 were held at the General Penitentiary in Kingston, facing murder, robbery, and firearms charges. So basically, the 2 first suspects to be identified, Lepo and Russell, surrendered to the JCF headquarters in Kingston as they knew they were wanted by police. The police searched Kingston homes and businesses. With these massive searches, they captured the 2 remaining suspects and brought them to the headquarters as well. These 2 extras were identified as the 2 other robbers. They spent the night at these headquarters, all 4 of them, and the following day appeared at the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. Resident Magistrate Herbert Walker ordered that they remain in custody to await trial. Crown Prosecutor Kent Pantry charged the 4 suspects, the robbers with murder, robbery, and a firearms offense, the driver with murder, robbery, and conspiracy. They remained at the General Penitentiary in Kingston the whole time when awaiting trial. They got court-appointed attorneys to represent them. The trials took place in 1988 at the Home Circuit Court. They involved 2 jury panels of 12 members and 2 alternates. Lepo and Russell were the ones to go to trial first. After 5 days, Lepo was convicted on all counts, receiving a death sentence that was voted for among the jury. However, after appealing the case, the House of Lords affirmed the conviction, but later overturned the death sentence in 1993, commuting the sentence to life in prison. The 2 other robbers were acquitted due to insufficient evidence. Another acquitted was Russell. Tosh's violent death became emblematic due to the risks faced by influential musicians in Jamaica, where fame, politics, and crime often collide. Lepo is currently serving his life sentence at the Tower Street Prison in Kingston. From Diddy in Manhattan to Marley and Tosh in Kingston, a pattern emerges. Musicians navigating power, influence, and danger. Diddy's crimes were prosecuted through courts, evidence, and modern law. Marley's and Tosh's fates, by contrast, involved rumors, speculation, and the lethal unpredictability of their environments. Also, Bob Marley was arrested in London, England, for marijuana offenses. This case fed into the claims that he was watched and harassed by authorities in different countries. He was fined £50 at the Marylebone Magistrates Court. He avoided jail time due to him hiring his own attorney. All 3 stories covered in this episode illustrate a brutal truth. The music industry does not just produce art, it exposes individuals to extraordinary risks, both legal and lethal. And while the law caught up with Diddy, Marley and Tosh's legacies remain intertwined with myth, conspiracy, and unresolved questions. In the end, music carries more than melodies. It carries history, culture, influence, and sometimes the weight of consequences. The stories of Diddy, Marley, and Tosh remind us that behind the fame, the spotlight, and the legend, there are human lives, vulnerable to both justice and tragedy. Thank you so much for listening, and please have a good rest of your day. Stay safe out there.